about to go down.
You know what? It was a miss.
Take me to heaven, baby.
You know what?
Don't stop until we get there and we knock on the door and St. Peter say, come on in.
My jaw's hurt.
You funny as hell right about now.
I'm trying to tell you what that song is about. Am I lying to you? I mean, I'm trying to tell you.
I quit. All right. The blog.
Just let me know when you're not gonna be here.
What you say, T?
You have to come every Wednesday. We can listen to you.
Whatever.
Larry know that song. Boy, I done had that song play a couple times though.
How your grandbaby doing?
Keep the show going.
All right, how the grandbaby doing? How the grandbaby doing?
He good.
All right.
He just turned 6 months old.
That's what's up. All right. So we back with the.
That's how he got here. Stand where the hell.
You know what? I am not here. All right. So we back with my man Wallstreet Wes. How are you doing, man?
He gonna spit so he gonna do a poem?
Yes, he gonna do a
Notice
poem.
I said poem. I sound like Medea.
For sure I am.
All right. So the thing about it is like you have been inspired. What inspired you to do poems, man?
The true story behind my poetry is I was introduced to poetry by my older sister Javier when I was a very young boy. When I was like 10, Javier introduced me to poetry. And when I was a kid, I used to stay on punishment a lot, so that was the only way I could keep a girlfriend. I was like just sneak on the phone at nighttime when my mom went to sleep and I'd read a quick poem and that'd be it. That'd be my relationship. Like women still love me to this day for them little poems back in the day.
Oh, he was talking them nothings, baby.
So fast forward years later, I was in the streets really heavy, and I remember I just came from a robbery, and I was sitting in front. Yeah, for sure. I did 10 years in prison for robbery. I was a stick-up kid. For sure. Yes,
I would have
ma'am.
never thought.
Yes, ma'am. I just grew up. I was a kid.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
Oh, you could be my son.
What's up?
I'm glad you turned your life around.
Yeah, me too. I'm very grateful.
Bless you, baby.
I won't even say I had the strength to do it on my own. It was like I feel like God just had a different purpose for my life.
Bless you.
But I had just robbed a store and I had forgot it was my girlfriend's birthday, so I wrote a quick poem on a receipt and I gave her the robbery money. And 2 weeks later, I caught my case. I got sentenced to 10 years in prison. And when I was in the county jail, she sent me the poem. And she was like, you remember this? So from there, I just started writing poetry every day in hopes the poetry be so good, she'd do the time with me.
And it didn't happen, did it?
But God had put it in my heart, like, man, she 19, you 20. Don't ask no 19-year-old girl to do 10 years with you. So I let her go. And even though I didn't see her, I didn't hear from her for 10 years, I never started writing her poetry.
Did she ever come back?
Yeah, she did. It didn't work out. When I came home from prison, it probably lasted about 3 weeks.
For real?
But that was only because I had no clue of...
What relationship was?
Not that as well,
right.
but I had no clue the psychological issues that came with being in prison. Like I thought I was cool, but when I came home, I was psychologically damaged on so many different levels that it was just like I couldn't cope. You know what I mean? Like even I've been home 6 years now, and I still have problems. Like I need my hand held in a lot of different things for real.
Really?
So yeah, for sure. A lot of times people try to say you got PTSD, but the real term is called post-incarceration syndrome. Like just like yesterday, I went to the grocery store, and just a simple trip to the grocery store, I get so overwhelmed that I can't function no more. I leave the grocery store without even buying nothing because it's so many senses going off that I can't even function. I'd be cool, but in the inside, I'm like it'd take me like hours to even come down from it for real. Like
because you were so used to being in that small little box.
Sure. Right. So all of those options at the grocery store is overwhelming. It's too many options for real.
Did you go to the hole at all?
Right.
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
That's the other part of it too.
Yeah.
How many times did you go to the hole?
In the course of 10 years, I probably been to the hole probably like 4 or 5 times.
Wow. You stayed there how long?
Different times. Sometimes it might have been for months, probably like 3 months.
Yeah, that really messed you up.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
did that on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. The whole process is psychologically damaging within itself.
Yeah, being in the hole, that's what they do. It makes you crazy. Not saying you're crazy, but that's what they do. He said he
admitted it. I mean, but the thing about it, but the thing about it is that he had.
He's back.
Right, all right. He's like the thing about it is like jail is not for rehabilitation. It's for just incarceration and reincarceration.
And it's to
brand
bring you back.
Right.
To bring you back.
They took rehabilitation off of the prisons in Ohio just because of that same matter.
It's not the rehab. It's
right.
just to condition you so that you will have to conform to their ways. And
Exactly.
when you're at home, you can't function properly, so then you have to go back.
Yeah.
Right.
You become a lifelong, prisoner.
Well,
Another thing part that people don't know is like the parole authority system has a crazy hold on you. Like you hear stories on the radio about Meek Mills, whereas I'm living that in real life. I've been on parole for 6 years. Like, and I've been incident free. No matter every time it's time for me to get off
They
parole,
keep flopping you.
they keep coming up with a different reason. And it'd be usually their fault. Like they'd tell me like, well, Wes, you've been doing good. Call us in 3 months. Then after 3 months, they're like, we ain't heard from you in 3 months. We got to violate you. And just like that, I go back to jail. Like I was at one point in time, I was the photographer for Kelly Clarkson, the first person to ever win America's, America's Idol.
American Idol.
And man, I was on the tour bus with her one day. The next day, I'm in jail just because I got into an argument with my girlfriend. It was that simple. I ain't kick her butt or none of that stuff. It was a simple argument, and they was like, man, they put me in jail for 6 months behind that.
what?
I barely come out my house because I be so scared I'm gonna go back to jail. Like I only come out the house with stuff like this.
So
Wow.
you're still on parole. What was your probationary period?
Man, they gave me 10 years mandatory, then they gave me 5 years mandatory on top of the 10 years.
So how many would you serve? 85% or 95% of your time?
My time was mandatory. I had to do all.
You serve 100%?
Yeah.
And you still
Well-
on paper?
6 years later.
Right.
Yeah.
He's still on probation.
Even like now, I've been on the phone with my parole officers, and I'm doing things inside the prison. I'm going back, giving to the prisons, and they dragging their feet out. Like but they'll lock me up like that. But then when I'm doing good, they drag the process so far out that I lose fight.
Okay, when we get off the air, I want to know who your judge was.
Okay, I was in Toledo though. I was in Toledo when I called my case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it just, I mean, the thing about it is like, can you explain to people about voting? We talked about that in our last segment, but the thing about it is, can you explain to the people who live in the area that you live in, or people who are in those particular projects, that they also vote for judges as well? That's how judges get elected. They are elected by the people. And if you elect if you don't vote, you elect the wrong judge. Guess what? That same judge, instead of giving you the probation or something like that, we'll lock you up. We'll lock your ass up. Excuse me.
And I think the reason why they really have a hard time voting is because like you said earlier, because it's a lack of hope in the community, the inner city, that everybody is doing crime. So they feel like no matter what judge is on the table, they're going to go to jail regardless because they're doing what they got to do to survive.
See, that's the problem. I understand that, but that's just that's the problem. That's the problem, unfortunately. But you wrote
He doesn't have the complexion for the protection.
Well, neither. Right, but I want to talk to you about you wrote how. So have you put together a book as far as your poems, or what have you done?
I have wrote a book. The title of the book was called Proof That I Existed.
Uh-huh.
When I came home from prison, 7 months after I came home, I had a condo out in Warrensville, and somebody set them on fire, and I lost everything. Like all my books I had wrote, everything I had ever wrote, they burned in the fire. Like 7 months after I came home from prison.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Who started the fire? Did you find the culprit who started it?
Yeah, it was big. It was on the news. I was on the news for like 2 months. It was like in Warrensville, Banbury. They had burned like 8 families that lost their home.
Wow.
I was one of them. I was fresh out of prison. And then they get even deeper, that they took all of these families that they brought us out here around Euclid, down the street by 260th. And they gave everybody like new housing. And they was just like, man, y'all can stay here 30 days, no rent, no deposit. And they pulled me to the side and told me they couldn't give me nowhere to stay because I had a felony. I was homeless for like 3 months.
Where were you staying at in those 3
in my
months?
car.
So you, like everybody else, lost everything in that particular fire out in Warrensville, living your life, not bothering nobody,
Sure.
because you had a felony. They treated you like, we can't give you nothing.
Wait, if you were a felon, how did you get your apartment?
Well, cash talk, but I was able to secure the appointment before I was able to secure my apartment before I even came home, just
That's what I'm saying.
paying people off. But once that happened, it was like I was out of my bounds. You know what I mean? Like in Warrensville, I had somebody in that housing projects where I can they showed me some love. They kind of looked away and still allowed me to get that based on the fact that I had lived in Warrensville when I was a child.
Right.
So, but outside of that, it was like even the mayor couldn't help me. Like he was trying to, he couldn't even help me. He tried. He genuinely tried. But it was just like,
So pretty much they took your money, looked away as soon as you were pretty much ass out, because of the fire. Now it's like, oh, no, we can't do nothing for you.
But it was a happy ending to the story. I ended up, at the time, the Word Church was on the news really heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, speaking as if they was, like, really helping us. But at the time, they really had. So they had gave us, like, a $50 Walmart card at the time. So I blew up in the Word Church. The first person I seen, I'm like, man, y'all all on the news saying y'all helping us. I need help. This is my story. And somebody from the Word Church ended up connecting me to a man named Harry. And Harry owned up a whole bunch of properties on the Kinsman area. And not only did Harry give me somewhere to stay, he let me stay there for a year for free to let me get back on my feet.
That's what's up.
Wow.
But the thing about it is he had to, I can put it to you like this, blow up to get it. Like, I am human.
For sure.
No matter what I've done wrong, no matter what my past is, I am a human being. I am a man. I want to build my life. I don't want to go back to jail. And that's the thing that we got to remember. No matter whether you live or if you pass on, these are human beings that deserve better treatment. And you, Wes, deserve better treatment.
I appreciate it.
Oh, and have you thought about writing another book? Like, I know you lost stuff in the fire. Are you still going to do performances, or are you going to write a book, or is that in the works?
I'm not gonna write another book. Even the book that I did write, my plan for the book was I had the book written, and I was gonna just publish the book and put it in a safe and spend my life creating value with my poetry. Then when I died, my children would have they'd be the only people in the world with my actual writings of my poetry for real. But I don't see myself writing another book. I'm really not a book writing type of guy. I'm more of a movie type of person. I like to shoot a movie before I like to write a book for real.
Okay.
But all my poems is in my head. I write all my poems in my head. Like, I don't sit down with like pen and paper. I write them in my head, so they always gonna be there for sure.
All right. Somebody said, Ashley. Shout out to everybody that wished me happy birthday and said stuff on the last Facebook Live. Ashley Reed said the word church is fraud. I'm gonna let you have that, Ashley. She said that. I didn't. I listen. Pastor Vernon. Pastor Vernon, you might want to talk to this young lady.
Hey, what church you go to?
I don't know. Right. So there's been, but let's get back to the church period, the black church. In your time of incarceration, we talk about preachers visiting the prisons. How many African American pastors did you see in your time in your incarceration?
I saw plenty, but I've never seen a pastor come inside the prison and speak to our immediate needs. You can always tell that they just came in and brought an old sermon out. They book of sermons.
He said they book a sermon.
Yeah, and like I would always sit there unfulfilled. That's why when I go into prisons now, I always try to provide things that's an immediate need instead of trying to rile y'all up and fake it to y'all out. When I go into prison, I come in and I fulfill needs. Like I sit down, I have a meeting with the whole prison. I'm like, man, what y'all need? And I make notes. And I come back out to the community and I make it happen. Those are things that I'm doing now.
Right. Oh, by the way, T-Rex, the answer to your question, Ashley Marie said she used to go to the Word. Her whole family was involved. Now she doesn't go in there anymore. Oh.
Good job.
Okay. So the thing about it is that you go in there and find out what do the prisoners need in prison. We know what are the basic needs that they want.
Based on what I've known, I can't speak for every single one of them, but based on what I've been dealing with lately and the things that I've been bringing to them, like say for instance, after COVID, a lot of the guys were like, man, Wes, we just want to laugh. We just want to laugh, man. We just want somebody to come here and put a smile on our face. So since they told me that, I've been spending like the last 3 months trying to get in contact with Dave Chappelle to take Dave Chappelle inside of the prison. And I've been making some good leeways with it, but it be just stuff that simple, man. They're like, man, we just want to laugh, man. We just want to smile.
Right.
We want to feel, the sense of a smile across our hearts. So it'd be simple stuff like that. But a lot of times when I come to the community with stuff like that, you could tell a lot of people be feeling like, man, they don't deserve no stuff like that. Like, they don't deserve that. Like, Dave Chappelle coming inside of the prison. So a lot of the things that I try to bring to the community, they be like, oh, no, they need jobs. They need that. I'm like, there's a lot of great organizations doing that stuff already.
Right.
But I'm trying to fulfill the needs that's being overlooked.
Right. I mean, there are some organizations that are doing it, like But the thing about it is, like, if you're still behind bars, just like you felt the same way, then they feel the same way as well. Of course, yes, you make bad choices, and in the end, you deserve to do the time. But at the same time, if they're doing like 10 years and they're going to be out, then they need some type of, how can I put it like this, to feel like they're human beings instead of animals.
Yeah, for sure. What most people don't know, the prison system is designed to strip you of your meaning and your purpose. So like imagine like feeling like you ain't got no purpose on this earth, but they're gonna go out their way. Like the staff goes out their way to make you feel like that you have no sense of purpose or meaning. Not knowing that, hell yeah, there's some bad people in prison, but the majority of the people in prison is people who've been misled.
Right. I think that the staff themselves, and playing devil's advocate, that they're taught to do that because I don't think this, like, imagine the only job you get is working with a bunch of hard-legged prisoners. Like, you, like, it's bad. Right, but they're going to, like, the thing about it is, but it pays, it has benefits. That's all they benefit, is the money. I mean, listen to, like, Lima, Ohio. Lima has a whole correctional institute. That whole damn city is prison, and is placated to the economic needs of the prisons.
There's no way this small state is supposed to have
30 prisons.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right. So
But it's profitable.
it's profitable. Like I said, like right, Lima.
So they privatize them.
Right. That Lima has a restaurant, a transportation service, little small hotels, and their biggest money draw is when family go visit their people in jail. Mm-hmm. And they had to stay the night and they had to drive back and things of that nature. So yeah, we are, like, the thing about it is that they made that assignment for real. So before how long we got?
I'm old. So today I did Facebook Live and I did Instagram. So I have my friend Michael, Mike. He was in Lake Erie Correctional Facility, and when he was there, he started an entrepreneurship group, and I would go down to Lake Erie, and I would teach these guys about what they need to do when they get out of prison, how to start their business. How to get, child support situations taken care of. And Mike did a great job at Lake Erie teaching these guys how to be entrepreneurs. And the class was so cold, they had to do a project. And then they had to present the project. And I would go down and be a judge for them. And some of those guys that came through the program that are now out, they're all running successful businesses.
If you still want to continue that, I could set him up to do that again as well on the free side.
I don't know. You know what, Mike? You gotta call me because he just told me. He said you should have had me on this.
Right.
But we can always bring you on, Mike.
You can always talk about it. Doors open. Before we go to break, Wes, you got a freestyle poem for us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, spit some stuff. All right. Wallstreet Wes is going to be spit the first time on the headline premiere. So, Wes, floor is yours.
Sure. I've been to hell and back. Yeah, it hurt like hell, but I've held it back. In fact, hell has sat in the middle of my trails and tracks like nails to flats, hoping that I fail or crack. Hoping that even when I'm free, I feel so jailed and trapped that I feel my only option is to grab a handful of gun shells and sell the crack. For what? So I could go back to men's yells as they sit in their cells and crack, all while wishing death on those who tell and rat. How much longer must I endure hell's attack without a helmet or a hat before I prevail or collapse? With every blessing, hell is attached, because jealousy and envy is what doing well will attract. Prayers from my foes, hoping that I fold overflows like a dam when it cracks. I didn't ask for swag, it's just laying in my lap, I swear. Hard times follow me, so I'm trying to catch hell in the act. I make up my life a nightmare without the ram of a nap. Life has me at gunpoint, and I don't give a damn to the max. At any moment, it could pull the trigger, but if it jam, I'ma slap. Death in the face for teasing me. And for anyone who said they'll stick by my side, thanks for deceiving me. In between my heart and my mind is so much of a jungle, you would think it was some trees in me. I'm trying too hard to stay humble. You would think I'd put some trees in me. I try to go back to the same places where blessings fell and pray for better days, but all I catch is hell. Palm.
Woo! That was fire. Black fist up for that one. No, two
Okay.
black fists up for that one.
Good shot.
All right, so we're about to return from the headline eye. That was Wallstreet Wes. This is Miss You by Aaliyah. We'll be right back on WNRV 108.1.com.